Hey Jack, wanna know something?
Tell me, Hat.
So remember that? Remember you bugged me last time about one of your song recommendations? What was it? I think "Zombie" by Bad Wolf.
Yes.
So I actually did listen to the song, and I and I didn't realize I heard this song before.
Oh,
In fact, I heard it multiple times on the radio during work.
really?
Yeah, it's on that alternative rock station.
Huh.
And but I would hear in the background, but I won't actually listen to it because I got work to do. So I take the time to listen to it, and few things. Number one,
Hmm.
I feel like I've heard that guitar riff somewhere else.
Yeah, that was my thoughts too on the whole thing.
I don't know if it's just a common thing in alt rock, but it felt like I heard it somewhere. Uh, did I start off with number two? Next point. The next point, as for my actual thoughts on the song, it's fine radio rock.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, that's pretty much their only good song.
Ah,
I like
eh,
some of their other songs are. That's why I never stated an album from them when we were doing the whole thing.
okay.
Like,
Just the single.
yeah, because the okay, some of their songs are just mediocre at best.
Oh
Yeah.
well, Luckily, I've already got better anti-war songs on my playlist, so I'm not gonna be losing sleep over not liking this song. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to episode 16 of the Hack Jack Show, Halloween edition.
Ooh, spooky.
Ooh.
That was cringy.
No, you're. Shut up.
No, you.
I'm trying to be entertained here, man. Come on.
Ooh.
But this is a more horror theme podcast episode we will have for you guys today, tonight, whenever you listen to this, and we will be doing a few things. Number one. So of course, since we're mostly talking about movies, comics, and games and whatnot, we'll be sharing, some of my favorite moments of horror movies, or some of my favorite moments of horror games. However, but along with that, Jack has some treats to show me that he wants to present to everyone here in the podcast that I don't know about. Going through a few spooky stories that he's find in the World Wide Web, mostly Reddit, but you get the gist. You get the gist.
Yeah, you get the gif. All right.
See, I pronounce it. See, I pronounce it right.
Yeah. Unlike some people, I heard that.
And with that said, we'll start off. Actually, you know what? Let's set the mood. All right, let's set the mood. Yeah, let's get everyone in the horror mood. Let's make things creepy and awkward, creepy, unsettling. Everyone, turn off your lights. Find your favorite blanket. And Jack, hopefully you have his already set up. Give us a good primer of ghost stories and tell it in your best narration voice. The floor is yours.
All right. So let me start off with something that actually happened to me today. So this was at work. Currently, I now have a new job as in the front desk for a hotel. I haven't really seen or heard any type of ghost stories in this hotel, but this one was just a little bit odd. So it was around 5:30 in p.m. It wasn't a.m., but it was 5:30. I was about to end my shift in like 30 minutes, And my general manager tells me, okay, so Jack, can you go over and just check up on these last rooms since we didn't have a chance to check up on them last time? Like, all right. So I go over to the rooms, and there was one room in particular that we were waiting on for this couple or family to leave so we can clean it up. This room, it was just room 127. So after the housekeeping already finished up, I go in, check the room, everything clean, everything's working, everything was fine. I came back after checking that room and then a few other rooms to the front desk, and my general manager and I, we were talking, just chatting since it was getting slow, and there was a new sound coming from the phone, and our general manager, he just looks at me, he's like, ah, alright, so let me show you something. So Jack, look at this. This is the sound of a 911 call from one of the rooms. Now, first of all, I was kind of wondering, okay, shouldn't this be urgent? He's like, okay, but don't worry, it's already going towards the police. He goes over and presses to look at which room is calling 911. He looks at the room number, I look at the room number, and we just kind of are kind of confused on how this is possible. The room number that was actually calling 911 was room 127. I already checked that room. There was no one there. I certainly didn't touch the phone. So we were very confused on what was happening. And then we got our call from the police department because they were looking into this as well. The way it works is that it goes from the room, it signals the front desk, but it goes directly to the police department. They asked us if anyone was okay, if there was anyone hurt. Our general manager said no, nothing was wrong. The room that was putting that false alarm was empty. He told them that. After they finished talking, he ends up uh he he hangs up the phone and he tells me like, okay, Jack, go ahead. Here's a room key. I made it up for you, so here you go. And go to room 127. Check out what's happening there. I go into the room, and it was just nothing. There was no one there. But it felt weird. It was kind of creepy to me because like I didn't see anyone in there. Maybe I was thinking maybe an animal might have gone inside, but no, there's no animal. I checked again by even going as far as checking the bathroom, the closet, anywhere to see if there's any animals. I pick up the phone. I listen. It's just dial tone, like as if no one was been there. So a little bit uneasy. I leave the room and go start heading my way back to the front desk. By then I noticed he had his phone in his hand and he's like, ah, Jack, I was actually gonna call you. I was gonna ask you, did you call me from that room? I'm like, no. Weird because I saw it show up on this thing that you were calling from that room. Like, I didn't call that. I didn't call from that room. I picked up the phone just to see if there was a dial tone, but I didn't call the room. He just kind of looked at me and was just like, huh, weird. But from that, it was just like sending chills down my spine. It was just very freaky. So that's what happened to me today.
Thank you very much, Jack. Actually, you know what? You actually are giving me the chills here. I'm not playing it up. I feel a little something. Actually do feel a little something. Well, good luck with your new job. That's all I could say.
I even made many remarks to him after looking at the second floor because the second floor is the second floor looks literally like something out of The Shining. A long hallway, brightly but somewhat fluorescently lit rooms or hallway with this eerie blue hue to everything. Even though it looks very bright, it just sends a very creepy vibe. And I even told him about that, and he's like, "There's nothing creepy about this." I'm like, "Well, I don't know. It just seems a little off to me." He's like, "Well, if it was a horror thing, it would be lights flickering and everything." I'm like, yeah, there has been cases of that, but true horror is when you don't expect it to be something cliche.
Hmm. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we can safely transition to go to my side. And I want to, in relation to going with starting out with paranormal and ghosts and whatnot. Never experienced anything like that in my life, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask. How and well, I can't go into well, I'll say this. I can't go into details because I wasn't personally involved. I was more like a bypassing witness. But I can say I have witnessed a few exorcisms. Those are pretty fascinating. But but as far as I have, as far as me, which is why we're gonna delve into some fiction here. Jack, have you heard of a movie called Poltergeist?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen it?
No,
Mm,
too much
mm,
of a scaredy cat.
oh, actually, you know what? That's probably for good reason. That's probably the scariest PG movie I've ever seen.
Really, a PG movie? It's PG? Huh.
PG by 1980
Oh,
standards, thus meaning that it was really just two ratings. It was either R or PG.
I see.
Yeah. So so pretty much it's equivalent to PG-13 nowadays. But I remember watching Poltergeist in the perfect setting. It was on a weekend night. I've heard the movie and I wanted to see the movie for myself to see if it was actually as scary. And so I prepared myself, even set the mood. And so I watched the movie. And number one of the better one of the better paranormal movies into especially especially since there is a few since I should since the fact that if you watch it nowadays, a lot of it does seem kind of cliche, but that's mostly due to the fact that Poltergeist popularized those cliches in the first place. So you got to kind of go into it with that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of things that you'll find predictable is because Poltergeist popularized that with of horror storytelling for
Mm-hmm.
ghosts. And and of course the moments that I'll always remember is number one when the dad is in the restroom
Mm-hmm.
and as he's shaving, he realizes that he cuts a piece of his skin.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes in there to remove the blood, but then he starts accidentally peeling off more skin. And then the scene continues on where the dad is just continually pulling the skin off his face like a madman. And as well, the for what I recall, it doesn't it because it's PG, it doesn't show you completely like the end result of the skin peeling, but you see enough of it to realize what's going on. And while it doesn't show you his full effect of the skin playing off, the camera goes to the sink and you just see all this slabs of skin and blood just fall into the sink, and you're thinking to yourself, like, oh no, what's like, how far is this gonna go? And it goes pretty far until when he finally reaches the end, he then kind of wakes up. He's still in the bathroom, but then he realizes that this face is still there.
Huh.
And it was in the middle of the movie, so this was the point where the family started to realize that the house was haunted, and so that freaked me out as a little kid. And second noteworthy thing as well was when this is probably the only time I was ever scared of a clown. Only time, and it wasn't even a real clown, Jack. It was a toy clown, but it was a freaking creepy toy clown because the little kid sleeping in his
Mm-hmm.
room, and he has this giant toy doll of a clown just sitting in front of his bed looking at him.
Oh. Oh God, no.
It's nighttime, and you see the kid sleeping, and he's looking at the clown. And it's just sitting there, closes his eyes, looks again because you could tell the kid's
Mm-hmm.
scared, and that goes on for several moments until when he opens up again, the clown's no longer there,
Ugh.
and he's in his bed. You could tell, and he really wants to go under the covers, and the camera slowly kind of zooms out, so you see more of the bed, and you see something move snake-like underneath the bed, until finally it comes to the actual scare moment, whereas the kid turned, whereas the kid, when he saw the little snake-like thing moving, he goes to check it. He looks, nothing's there. Come into an actually pretty good jump scare, where the clown is like right next to him face to face, and the toy clown wraps using his arms, wraps the kid like a snake, crushing trying to crush him.
Oh, I remember that scene now.
that scene alone that scene alone, even though the kid thankfully didn't die, that scene alone creeped me out so much when I was younger that I didn't want to even look at images of that toy clown.
Don't worry.
I'm fine now. In fact, I don't know. I don't see the scare in clowns anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I find them as they're tending to be silly. But more than it, or more than Pennywise, that toy clown for a specific part of my life actually made me afraid of them.
Don't worry, because for me especially, I thought that scene in my like with the same parody scene from Scary Movie.
Oh, was that Scary Movie 2 that did
Yeah,
that? Oh, well, you, I saw that movie. That was a long time ago, so I don't even remember how they parodied it
it was
exactly.
the if I remember correctly, it was the schlong instead. Yeah,
Ugh.
of the clown.
That's, that's some Mr. Fantastic fan fiction right there. You you know why Susan Storm is married to him, right? Because he has a great personality.
Very great.
Yeah, right. So I'll stop there. Jack, you want to also share another frame moment from a game or movie, or do you have another spooky story for us?
All right, so this is actually from a YouTube channel called Petscop. So, with Petscop, let me give you a little bit of a. Alright, so this channel, it's basically a channel where he records this game he found, and he's recording it for a friend. He's pretty much recording it to prove that the game is real, and the way the game is portrayed, it looks like it's a pretty much a Sony. It's a PlayStation game. It runs as a PlayStation game, with down to everything else, and The game itself, I mean, it looks exactly like something out of a PlayStation game. If you look at the link I sent you.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Actually, it starts off like literally it does the wow
Mm-hmm.
wow. So yeah, I'm watching the very first video right now.
Perfect. So in this video, you don't see much, but you have to really see more of the episodes of him playing the game. And you start to notice some weird things, especially at the end of episode 1, somewhere close to the end. You see him go off into a different part of the map, and it just then brings him into a dark, void looking world where it's just the green grass and a brick house that he just came out of the door from. He walks aimlessly, and it feels like there's nothing there. Because he just like there's the only thing is a few things like apparently there is something that looks like an attic door. So throughout the whole game, he plays it and he goes deeper into this game where it just gets more and more creepy. The descriptions of the characters or pets that he collects. If you notice, some of the ways he collects these pets are very manipulative. Like the pets are trying to get away from him. And throughout the whole thing, you later learn that this is all probably a reference to a real life case that happened. In this real life case, what ended up happening is that this little girl was adopted into a different new family, and there's this kind of syndrome or kind of like something switches in their brain where they become very aggressive or they just change suddenly in their demeanor and manners. They become very hostile. This is just because of the sudden change of being in a new family. So this girl was very, very violent towards her little brother. So they ended up taking her into therapy. And in this therapy session, what they ended up doing was they grabbed the girl, wrapped her up in some type of like blanket or rug, and the therapist literally just like sat on her or laid down on her while she was covered in there. And the girl's whole thing was that she needed to pretty much free herself by squirming out of the hole in the rug. The girl couldn't do it, so she tried to say, "Please let me out." The woman did not let her out. She still sat on her and told her she needs to get out on her by her own. This kept on happening and happening for minutes on end. She was losing oxygen inside that rug. And from there, eventually she died. And I forgot what was the name of the girl, but this whole game is a reference to that, and how this made up game is actually being haunted by it, or something similar to it.
Now, I'm guessing that all of this is it actually. I should ask first: is this the little series still going on, or has it like already had its conclusion?
From as far as I know, it's still going on.
I see. So look at it now, and I have to turn off the audio, but so I'm just looking at it. Since you watch it, Does the game have like weird effects, or does it sound like a regular game?
Um, at first, it sounds like a regular game, but later on, it just starts sounding very distorted in some parts. Other parts, it just doesn't have any sound whatsoever, which adds to the creepiness of it. And yeah, some people here are like currently on their last current video. Some of the comments are saying that this is not the end of the whole thing. Someone, if I remember, someone right here just said that this is not the ending credits. This is more of like a funeral allegory, and that there will be a lot of grave digging in future episodes, in my opinion. That's what he says.
This is a you know what? This is a bit of an admire. It's probably not. I'm guessing it's more on the lines of that psychological horror and creepy rather than having intense frightening images and more just trying to plays with your head a lot. I'm
Pretty
guessing.
much.
Mm,
And sadly enough for some
oh,
people, this is not a game you can play. This is an ARG in a YouTube channel. For those of you that don't know what an ARG is, it just means for augmented reality game. It's just supposed to be a game that you either watch or play it through with the YouTuber, Twitter, or whatever they're using.
okay, let's see. Hmm, that's probably for the best. Probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really want. It would be very immersion breaking if someone was like, "All right, guys, so I'm going to get the source code of the game, and hey, look, here's the full 3D model of the game."
Yeah.
Yeah, these type of videos, this is watching right now. This is what YouTube was made for. It reminds me so. It reminds me very much of like another popular horror thriller series that's I think that everyone knows, like Marble Hornets.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It 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 gives me that vibe, but in game
Mm-hmm.
form. So actually, you know what? Let me I'm gonna put that to my watch later, which I actually use. I don't just put videos in there and never watch them. I actually do watch them, and I want to check this out because when October hits, ooh man, I get in the horror mood, and this looks like something I would be want to watch.
It's so good. I wish there was a lot more channels talking about this because you have to do a lot of digging to find out what's happening.
Yeah, and I doubt YouTube is gonna be like, hey, we recommend this video for you.
So I'll give you, a, since you're going to be watching this, I'll give you a reference to one YouTuber you can watch to see what's happening from I think the first 9 videos. Yeah, 9 videos, I think so. It's
All right,
Paracynical.
I think I heard that channel, but yeah, all right, that's fine. You can send over the Discord. All right. So anything else about Petscope you want to elaborate more, or is that it?
No, I'll just leave it to the curiosity of people from there on.
Woohoo! All right then. We're gonna go back to me again, and we're gonna we're gonna go into our little horror journey more up to date. And actually, Jack, you want to know what's my absolute favorite horror film of all time?
Which one?
The Thing.
Oh yeah, the thing. I remember that.
And I'll ask again. Have you seen The Thing?
No.
I'll force you to one day if you're ever over at my home. I'll force you to watch The Thing.
Good luck with that.
Regardless, regardless. So it's since it's a pretty popular movie, and it just gotten more popular ever since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go by what was so horrifying about that film.
The voice acting.
And, and the horrifying thing about it is that the movie ne- the movie never lets you it never lets you give you relief or gives you a break. You're always on edge when you watch that movie
Hmm.
because due to the way the main monster of that movie how it works, you, it gives you and as well the settings, which is a scientific base in the Arctic,
Mm-hmm.
away from any civilization. You get the claustrophobia,
Mm-hmm.
and as well the fear and the fear of betrayal, because that's what this whole movie's on is about. Who can you
Mm-hmm.
trust? And because of that, you're always on edge till whenever things until whenever the characters trying to figure out who is the one that they cannot trust. And as well, I make it a point to always watch the movie
Mm-hmm.
sparingly, because I find that every time I watch it, there's details I always miss, and so I always find something new to watch whenever you watch the thing. Like, for example, this detail I never I never noticed that, if I can recall it correctly, because these are little details that if I mess up, oh, people will give me crap for it,
Mm-hmm.
or at least Thing fans. One little detail that I never caught on was the fact that, dang it, I gotta watch the movie again because I had it in my head. Is there a forgetful hack at it again? I had it in my head. But okay, trust me on this. I'm only forgetting details because that's what I am. But when I watch the movie, I'll be like, that there it is. That's what I was talking about. But in any case, it always feels like a new movie to me, due to the fact that I watch it sparingly, and as well, even if I know beat for beat what's going to happen, the way that it develops the story and how it drags you along, and the way how well portrayed all the actors are in convincing you that you feel like you're in this situation for real. There's no, it's not like a slash. It's not like a. It never. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
The kills in that
Mm-hmm.
movie are over the top, but the characters never have an over the top reaction. It's very down. It's very down to earth and realistic. Like let's take the horror trope. Like, let's say you watch like a Friday the 13th
Mm-hmm.
movie. There's gonna be the scene where, oh look, there's those teenagers. There's those teenagers doing it outside. Oh, here comes Jason, and then the girl she screams. Jason kills him. The guy's like, ah, and then he's killed too. Is it fun to look at? Yes, but do you take that scene seriously?
Oh, no, actually, my favorite one. My favorite one would be, oh no, they're eating her. And it's gonna eat me. Oh my
Oh my
god.
god! I've seen Troll 2. That was a great Friday night because I didn't watch it by myself. In any case, but yes. So the acting is really good. They treat this movie, they treat what's going on so seriously that you get lost in the movie, and and if any point someone interrupts you, you can feel that immersion just break because that's how much it pulls you in. The only thing that I think modern audiences will have trouble watching
Mm-hmm.
it because the movie, my opinion, even holds up. Like even the special effects hold up, all of it. The only trouble if I have modern audiences having watching it is that like movies of that time, um, it has it likes to build on the horror to the point that when we reach the climax, it's very exciting and things are moving forward quickly, but you got to start off really slow and pace it well. It's very slow pace at the beginning, and it is intention like that so that you understand number one the setting you're in, how the characters interact with each other, and as well just building up the mystery. If you can't handle that, well, I'm sorry, folks, but majority of good horror movies they tend to start at a pretty slow pace. I'm just like really good horror movies. That's how they start off. If you can't handle it, well, just stick to your torture and slasher movies. I think those would be more your cup of tea. But yeah, the thing specifically the 1980s thing, favorite horror movie of all time. I love it so much. I even once I put that movie on during a family road trip.
Nice.
But I waited till my siblings were asleep. It was a dead of night, so I just tell my dad. Oh no, tell my mom. Hey, put this movie on. They're like, okay, put it on. And of course and of course our parents they could only hear the
Mm-hmm.
movie, so they're like they can't even imagine what's going on. And so my mom goes, "What are you watching?" And my dad, he's like, I don't care. As long as it doesn't make me fall asleep, I'm fine. so, so yeah. Thing, favorite horror movie of all time. So, going back to you, Jack. See a little break from. Actually, no, not a little break. What am I talking about? All right, Jack. While I was in your court, you gonna share with us? You share with us another horror thing you like, or another story for us?
Alright, so I'm gonna share just a little quick story what happened to me when I was playing Dead Space. So this was the first Dead Space, the one that many people would probably say that really showed, like, really well balanced the whole action and horror. Actually,
Some would argue it's the best one.
let me rephrase it: horror action. Action horror would be something like Dead Space 3. This is horror action. So with I was playing in, I think, the highest difficulty before you beat the game. So let's just say hard. At this moment in time, when it comes to, you know how it is when it comes to like these type of games, they're pretty much survival games at the same time. You have to manage your ammo.
Yeah, like a lot of survival horror games. Sure.
Hmm. Let's just say this time I wasn't doing that well. So
Uh,
I I had enough health because I had a boatload of health packs that I saved up throughout the time, but I had no ammo in it. So this was in the cool thing about Dead Space was that you were able to go back and forth between the levels, even though you do recognize some of them when you go back and forth between the levels. They do change dynamically depending on the scripted monsters that come out. So at this moment, there was a necromorph that came out from close to the the medical bay area, if I remember correctly. At that moment, I ran out of bullets. Didn't have enough, but I had enough credits to buy more. So I needed to run somewhere that had a shop. The problem was, where I was running, the the necromorph started following me all the way to that one way corridor. It was literally as big as just the width of your body. So it was very claustrophobic. And I just hear it snarling in the back, like right behind me. And this was me playing on my old PC. So in my old PC, it's not a gaming laptop. It was just like a regular old work laptop. It ran the game fine. It's just that some levels or some doors didn't want to load in fast enough. And that was the cool thing about Dead Space. It the way the doors or the way the level is opened up is it loads through the doors that you're accessing through. So this necromorph is right behind me. I have low ammo. For now, I had barely any health because I couldn't. Because if you try to go into your inventory while the necromorph is there, he could still attack you. It doesn't pause the game for you to take a health pack. And I didn't quick save it to a certain health pack to be able to just press it on one button. So I'm running through the corridor. I could feel it. I was so immersed that to me, I felt it breathing down my neck. I then run straight for the door that I could see. It was like a safe zone that no necromorph can just like go up a air vent and then come down. And I'm literally at the door. I press open, and you guess what happens?
What
At that moment, it's just like loading on the door, because that's how the door loads. So that's how you can go from one room into another. So the door is just like stuck there, loading for like a minute. At least it felt like a minute or two. It felt like years to me. And I go into the door, look behind me, and I saw that the necromorph already turned the corner and was doing a mad dash for me. But the good thing is, at that point, I went through the door, and the necromorph could not go through that one area because it wasn't. I guess the monster was not able to. I guess they programmed it a way to where the monster can't get through that door. So it just kind of like smacked that invisible barrier. I'm just like, oh god, I'm alive.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Now we get back. I remember even you telling me this story. That has to be frightening.
Yeah.
And you didn't have the Resident Evil luxury of having an entire loading sequence to save you.
Yeah, I was just there, kind of like, come on, open.
But also, you also remind me of another of my scary moment when I played a game. It would have to be, what's it, Ari? What is it? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so it was Resident Evil remake,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one moment where I got far enough as Chris Redfield,
Mm-hmm.
and it was coming to the point that where all the zombies that I previously mowed
Mm-hmm.
down were coming back stronger and on fire.
Oh, you got the.
And so I was already at that moment, and what I needed to do was I had to. It was this is an objective that can go either or.
Mm-hmm.
You had to take an antidote and I believe you had to take it all the way to either Rebecca Chambers or another Stars team
Mm-hmm.
member. I think it was another Stars team member. It wasn't Rebecca. And it was one of these moments where it was designed that the game will continue whether or not he lives or dies.
Huh.
So it was all up to you and how well you know the layout of the
Mm-hmm.
mansion and how much you can avoid the zombies to make it there. And of course, it didn't make it easy. The antidote was, if I recall correctly, in the it was in the east wing of the second floor of the
Mm-hmm.
mansion, and you had to go all the way down to the first floor of the west wing.
Huh.
And you could, and for I believe that's how it was. Either way, it was a long trek. And at this point, I think there were certain areas that were blocked off that you just couldn't get through. And so, sounds like I got the antidote, and the gate told me, "You have to hurry. He's gonna die. He doesn't get it." On my very first playthrough,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, I made it and was able to save him. I somehow dodged all those zombies and was able to go through just in time. My second playthrough,
Uh-huh.
I failed badly.
Oh.
He died. He died. I remember his name, but he died. And I was like, wait, you could fail? And that was the first time I learned that you could fail. I just thought that you just kind of had to. Well, it didn't occur to me that that would be a fail state. I just figured that was the game acting using game logic where it will tell you to hurry,
Ah, yeah.
but there's really no urgency
Kind of
to
like
it.
how my favorite thing to do is in the cliches the building's gonna explode and you just hear throughout the whole building. You're in the middle there, like, so when is it gonna explode? I see it happen.
Yep. Well, not this case. This guy died all because I wasn't as good as my first playthrough, which is quite odd. That I did worse on my second than my first.
You know, that reminds me.
But you
Uh
know
huh.
what's but you know what's the real tragedy
Mm-hmm.
though? I still haven't finished Chris's campaign for just a stupid reason. I couldn't figure out the chemical puzzle,
uh,
and I was trying so hard to figure out what to do because the way I didn't want to look it up. I didn't want to go to GameFAQs and anything. I wanted to figure it
mhm.
out. And and when I went to the chemical room, there was a when I click on the chemicals, Chris will say, "I don't know how to handle this stuff. I need someone else to do this." And I'm like, "Who's the other character here in the game I could talk to?" And it was Rebecca
Mhm.
Chambers. And I was like, "Wait, she can do this." And so I go to Rebecca, but every time I go to her, it was just played a cutscene of them saying like, "Be careful out there. You too. Stay here. Be
Mhm.
safe." And I'm like, "How do what do I do, Gabe? How do I get her to come with me?" And I don't know how to trigger something. So at that point, like, rage quit. I was like, "Forget this."
By that point,
I got so far too. I got
by
so
that point,
far.
I think you need to just swallow your pride and just look it up.
No, my pride couldn't handle it. Even to this day, I didn't. I still haven't looked it up out of
You need to look
curiosity.
it up. Yes,
No,
you're never gonna
no.
experience the rest of the game if you don't look it up.
If gamers can figure this out in 2001 and in 1998, I can sure can figure out now.
Well, obviously you didn't. That was the true horror of it all.
Uh, that's the true. That's the true horror.
But I just remembered a. Okay, so I gotta admit, when it comes to the Resident Evil 2 remake, it's amazing how they made a tank way of looking at the game where you just have set cameras to make it over the shoulders and not lose its urgency and tension of the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, I would commend it for that. I would assume it'll probably follow that RE4 trend where by the end you're just like unstoppable.
Yeah,
But no, that never
and like the
happened.
whole thing it was that I was looking into how they do it, and they they said that they purposely made sure that you can't really just like hug a wall and then do the third person looking where you just like your character's looking at a wall, but you're like, all right, I see two zombies, um, a licker, and Mr. X. Just like by staring at a wall and then having your outer camera spoil it for you. They fixed it to a way where the camera itself would not give you any more information other than how you're looking at your character right now. And this really showed badly from one of my playthroughs. So I was up in the attic and it's just amazing. I love this game. I love this game, especially how everything's animated and how everything reacts. I'm up in the attic. This was very early in the game, but uh, it was it was early, but not as much to the. I was pretty much at the point where I finally have Mr. X walking around the area. I never had a chance to kill the licker up in the attic, so I'm up there.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, I'm up there, and I forgot that sometimes dead bodies do come back up. Even though they're scripted to be dead, maybe sometimes that corpse is not really dead. So,
No matter how many times you knife it.
yeah. So, I'm up in the attic because I'm trying to solve a puzzle, trying to get to the library, and I didn't even bother looking down because I didn't think anything was down because I killed everything, all the zombies there, but not the licker. Turns out the one zombie that was kind of dangling from the top of the ceiling was already fell down somehow and was crawling towards me. So I didn't notice that. Started crawling on me, bit my shin. I freaked out, started running. I'm like, then I stopped because I noticed that the licker just like was in mid jump from the ceiling down to the floor. Even though it was in mid jump, and I was like, okay, maybe it didn't hear me. It snarls, looks at me, and I'm like, okay, it heard me. So I start running. I start booking it back from where I came, which was down towards not towards the library, but and through the long corridor. And like from there, the licker, I go out the attic door, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. It's not gonna follow me. It's literally just like runs up on the ceiling, and I'm like, oh crap. Start running down. I ran back to the stairs. Then from there, when I was running down and I turned the corner, Mr. X was there. Yeah.
You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I was already down the stairs. But like I see Mr. X, he sees me, he's running at me full speed. I dodge his first attack, run I run right through him. And I forgot for a split second that there was another licker there between the office where we have all the police people in there, that one little first puzzle you had, and the armory lock inside the building. You know that room? Remember that first licker?
I know it very
You
well.
remember that first licker? I didn't kill it. Actually, no. I did kill it, but it respawned because I took so long on my puzzles.
For me, that was my second liquor. The first one was in the attic for me.
Yeah, technically that was my second liquor, but remember that liquor was actually no, that should be your first liquor.
The one next to the
Yeah,
armory? Well, apparently not for me.
man, you got lucky. But
But
yeah, I killed that licker before, but I took so long in my puzzle things because I'm not smart apparently, and it respawned. I was already down to half health, so me running from a licker to meet Mr. X gonna give it to you, to run away from him to meet another licker.
just just every poor decision coming right back to bite you.
Yeah, and then from there I just died.
So I want to say keep it RE2 just a little bit before we move on, but I actually so that area you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about, I have actually a pretty neat
Mm-hmm.
story in my experience playing RE2 for that area with
Mm-hmm.
Leon. So so at this point, um, Mister I already activated Mister X, and the liquors are already becoming slightly more
Mm-hmm.
common. And I was at a save point where I was in the save point where you're near where in that you're in that room next to the photography
Mm-hmm.
room. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? So I was in that room, and I've also was at half health, and the only defense I had was a few rounds of Magnum ammo, and a few pistol rounds, but that was it. And so of course I was like, all right, I can't I can only fight if I needed to. So pretty much for this entire
Mm-hmm.
sequence, I believe I had to go to unlock a door with a brand new key I
Mm-hmm.
gotten. I had to go from there all the way. I had to go from there all the way to the all the way to where the armory is. Go next door to the office building to unlock I believe it was the third door in that office building that in the office building where all the police officers were to meet.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do several attempts to do it, where I were to the point that I finally found a good pattern where I would use the Magnum to stun Mr. X, then use that advantage to go do what I needed to do while dodging other zombies and
Mm-hmm.
lickers. I and it comes to a certain point I aced that small section so well. It gave me the brightest idea to challenge other people in attempting to do the same thing with the same setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much did like a little RE2 challenge where, hey, do this small section with all the conditions that I'm under in, and see if you could do it just like how I did it. That was fun. No one got it. No one got it. Not even under like second or third try. But that was just a fun memory to have. I really gotta do Claire's campaign. I really gotta do that. But with that finished, we don't get too on RE2. I think
Mm-hmm.
Jack, it's about time for another spooky story. Won't you say?
All right. All right. So this, hopefully, we're meeting about this one. So this comes from one of the Reddit posts I found. Let me just open it up just so I can set the mood. All right. So it says on this. This is on the subreddit r/ghosts. Years ago, my sister had a Dora doll she really loved that could move its head electronically. However, we never put batteries in it because at the time we couldn't afford a lot of stuff. My mom caught my sister singing and playing with the doll, not noticing the doll's head turns to look at her. So, in this, we'll have this edited in, but we see in this video that the girl's singing, probably playing with the doll, and the person filming it. Oh, oh, that's creepy. I'm playing it right now, so all of a sudden the doll just like snaps directly looking at the camera. No one's touching the doll. The door is slightly open, but we can still see the girl in full view. And you know how you could see the little crevice between the door hinge and the door itself in the wall? No one's in there, and that like hiding behind the door, turning the doll. And some of these comments are ruining my immersion.
Don't read the comments, man. Not your first one. Don't do it. Scroll up, scroll up. There we go.
But
But I'm watching it too, and I will have to call it first. So I will show, edits a portion of somehow find a way to edit this, not edit, edit the podcast where you can see the video we're seeing, or at the very least put a link to it. But the person I think he's filming with his phone, the camera they use to film the actual event. So I don't know, but probably never heard of SD cards. However, disregarding that fact, the way that the video quality, I think, actually helps with the creepiness to it, because if you wouldn't know any better, it looks like some sort of home video made like from the 90s. It's like VHS type of quality to it.
oh yeah, it just like really makes it way too scary.
And you know what's more creepy for me? The fact that I can't really see Dora's face.
Yes. It's like terrifying.
And also, oh, by the way, I had the audio off. Is there actually any audio in this video, or is it just the video, or is it
No,
just that?
there is audio that you see the girl singing or hear the girl singing, but you don't really hear anything from the doll itself. It's just like yeah.
All right, so here's my totally real lore behind this video. You want to hear my lore? I'll take that silence as a yes.
Hearing the girl singing just adds to the creepiness of it all. I'm rewatching it like with the audio on.
So here's my lore. Here's my lore. If I was inspired to get a backstory for
All right.
this, I would put in that the Dora doll is is possessed by the mother's first child. The first child that never got to that never that didn't have a proper birth.
Hmm.
And so because of that, the spirit of that still baby lingers in Dora, and is trying to find a way to connect to its sibling, that would be how I would put my little lore spin on this. That Dora is possessed by the still child of the mother's uh, first baby.
I would have said something along the lines of like that's the child that made the doll, because maybe there's a sweatshop and maybe the girl died on the job and now haunts that doll.
You know what? That idea could work. That idea could work for a lot of for that work. They could work for either a TV series or a movie.
Yeah. You know, oh,
It would be morbid, just like horror.
have you
Like just imagine all the toys in the world possessed by sweatshop kids.
have you seen this one show? I love to see it just because I'm just kind of thinking to myself, why would anyone do this? I forgot what was it called. The Haunted Collector. I think it was something like the Haunted Collector or something like that. The Haunting Collector, Ghost Collector. Yeah, Haunted Collector.
Haunted Collector. What rabbit hole you're putting me
It's
through?
just from the Sci-Fi Channel, and this guy literally he just goes into it. He gets calls from people. He's a paranormal investigator. He gets calls from people too because of ghost activity, and he just ends up trying to search and find what item itself specifically is causing that haunting, and he collects them.
Well, he puts Guillermo del Toro to shame.
Now, here's my thought on that. Even like if it is real, first of all, why would you do that? Like he literally collects them and puts them in some basement of his. Second of all, there if there are real, there is a lot of angry spirits there. Putting them all in one place, are you sure about
Who knows? Maybe secretly this collector is some sort of wizard or sorcerer.
that? He's a brujo.
He dabbles in that. I guess he gets the as closest to real life witchcraft or in
Mm-hmm.
wizardry, or maybe he's a Satanist, and so he's collecting all of these dead spirits for some like big
He's a
plan,
brujo.
or or maybe he's just a weirdo. That too. He's a weirdo who knows how to make his hobby entertaining for the viewing
Oh,
audience.
oh, oh, wait, let me see. Let me try to remember. I'm a. Okay, so if I can try to remember the channel's name. God damn it. Hopefully I have it here in my subscriptions. Like the first thing. So there is a channel that I used to watch for a bit. I stopped because they were not putting up more videos. It, if I'm correct, they ended the videos somehow. But basically, it was another ARG, and this one just kind of sent shivers down my spine, just because of how it was. It was just creepy the way it did everything. It it felt like it was a person going through like this manic episode. So the whole story about this whole YouTube was that the person themselves, they at first they started off making YouTube videos for just to like, I think it was like the how-to videos. And then it started devolving into like the first episode you see, obviously it was like looked very fake. Yeah, the first video. Not gonna lie that it was some sort of like paranormal thing, but the guy was talking. He then looks over at the door. It opens a little bit. He goes over to check on the door and then jump scare. Now I'm assuming he was just testing out the waters with that, trying to figure out how to make the whole ARG. But later on, it started to get weird. In one of the videos, if I remember correctly, he's like breathing heavily. He's in the middle of he's in the middle of a road. It's dark outside. You only see just the lamp illuminating the lamppost, and he's just like, "All right, guys, so let me just give you a little how-to video on how to stop a ghost from staring at you." And you can see it down the end of the street. There's some weird entity just like staring down at him. You can only see the black void of it. And he's like, okay, so you know how it is in like most scary movies. You see the person, they look at it, and they look behind them and look back, and that's how it goes. So let me show you. He does it while he's turning the camera. You would see something, and then he looks back, and he's like, and it's gone. All right, so that's the end of the video. If you play back, when he turns the camera, you see a body bag on the floor. And then you start connecting dots to where in his room there's always a lot of plastic like garbage bags laid out on the floor.
Ew.
And you start going into his house, and he has like, apparently he doesn't have just one angry spirit. He has multiple angry spirits around his house. And throughout this whole ARG, you figure out that maybe he might be a murderer. And all these angry spirits are haunting him.
Not gonna lie, Jack. Not gonna lie. I'm getting some Diamond is Unbreakable vibes here.
How so?
I feel like I feel like it's an alternate world we're watching a real life Yoshikage Kira. But it actually does. But it actually does sound very creepy. And that's another thing I always like when to those kind of creepy YouTube videos is that sometimes if it's done really well, they really do blur that line between what's reality and what's like part of just of the video. And so that kind of puts me on edge. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm done watching videos for tonight. Or you'd be like, I'm just gonna go back to finishing a Let's Play. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to I'm gonna finish watching part 19 of this Mario Let's Play.
But I'm gonna currently find it at. I'll promise you at the bottom of the description there will be a link to that YouTube channel so you can watch it. Watch all the videos. So creepy sometimes.
And as well, I wanted to do one last segment for me before we properly start closing out the podcast. So, in this and I'm not gonna be sharing a sick moment favorite horror movie or game. But I want to kind of like share my journey of how I grew to be fascinated by horror. It's not by me; it's my all-time favorite genre. Genre, but it's definitely high up there. So I am willing to admit that, and maybe this is a bunch of kids as well. I'm willing to admit that as a little kid, it didn't take a lot to scare me. I mean, I'll give you an idea. The 1998 Godzilla movie, the American one. Okay, that movie in itself is not scary in the slightest. It is meant to be pure like monster, and like just seeing the cool monster. And there was a moment in the movie where you see the eggs of that Godzilla, or if you're a true Godzilla fan, Zilla, the eggs of Zilla. And on its own, is nothing honestly scary about it. And there was like a little final scene at the end where it shows like an egg that survived after the eggs were supposedly destroyed. and it hatches, and then the movie ends there. As a kid, that honestly creeped me out so bad when I was seeing that scene at a friend's house that okay, Jack, I gave you all permission to make fun of me, but that scared me so much that I didn't want to go inside their apartment, and I said I will go back inside when the movie is over.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, so and and of- and of course, and also at that time, one like horror icon that's freaking me out,
Hmm.
and in which I think I watched a little bit of that also scared me was the Chucky
Hmm.
movies. And as a kid who really loved his toys, I didn't want to watch a movie where um I didn't want to watch a movie where toys were trying to kill me.
Hmm.
So to me as a little kid, Chucky was like this creepiest, scariest thing I have, and I really want to see his
Hmm.
movies. And this is the point where his movies started getting silly with Bride of Chucky and Seed of
Oh
Chucky.
yeah.
So that's how I kind of started off. And over the years, I slowly grew more tolerable, but I pretty much avoided the horror genre entirely. Just because I just didn't like it. I didn't like being scared or being fearful,
Hmm.
in a, at least in this healthy
Hmm.
sense. But when I started getting more into YouTube
Hmm.
and watching YouTube videos, I discovered a channel which is still around and is just growing bigger than which is still around for like over 13 years at this
Hmm.
point, and they're still kicking and going. A little channel called Cinemassacre, and for those who don't know, Cinemassacre, that's the channel that was host to a very famous web series called The Angry Video Game Nerd,
Uh,
and
hmm.
and initially that's how I was introduced to the channel because of the nerd. But and as well, I even checked out his main website, which maybe it's still running. I don't know, actually, honestly. The main Cinemassacre
Hmm.
website. From him, Mr. James Rolfe, whenever he would do non nerd related
Hmm.
videos, and he will show off his like his film knowledge because he was bigger into movies than he really was to games.
Hmm.
He he had his whole month dedicated to horror movies. It was his Monster
Hmm.
Madness, and he did it every October ever since 2007, I want to say. And through James Rolfe, I started to get myself very familiar with all these horror movies, and pretty much because of him and watching his videos, I was able to get over my like kind of cowardliness of just horror movies in general.
Hmm.
So now where like I could just watch a horror movie and not without any lingering thoughts being like well able to sleep soundly at
Hmm.
night. All because of the nerd.
Huh.
And as well the way James Rolfe would present these movies, um, he always presented in such in from a filmmaker's point of
Hmm.
view. So he always go by like the backstory of how these movies are made, why these movies are great, why some of these movies suck, and I started to learn more about horror through him. So much that I started to actually like what, let me go out and see these horror movies. It was because of him I finally saw Halloween. I finally saw Alien and Aliens. Uh, I saw The Thing. I saw parts of Evil Dead. I check out so many Godzilla movies, and eventually that led to the gaming side. So Jack, through all those years of high school and bits of middle school, that's what I would that's one of those channels I would normally watch, and it inspired me a whole lot more than you think. So just kind of want to share that story, share a bit of uh share a bit of myself of how now I now I love horror for what it is. May not be my favorite genre of all time, but if someone asks me to watch a horror movie, I go sure. Just if it's crappy, you pay for it though. You pay my seat for a crappy horror movie, and and I surprised myself, Jack, because just a few weeks ago, on a Saturday night, I popped on Alien
Hmm.
and watched it while in bed, and then went to sleep like it was nothing.
I mean, that's how it should be.
I Right, but I couldn't. But that's how much I've changed ever since I was a little kid who couldn't even handle a simple scene of a monster hatching from an egg or a little stupid toy doll. Which, in retrospect, those movies were not scary in the slightest. They were just funny. So I'm just gonna show you the comparison there, how much I've grown. So with so hopefully you guys enjoy that little personal anecdote. And with that, we'll go right into closing the podcast. And and first off, Jack, of course, what is your music recommendation of the
All right,
week?
so let's see. My music recommendation for this week. So, oh, by the way, just to see, have you tried listening to the other two songs I mentioned before?
No, I forgot what they are, but I could just rewatch the previous podcast to see. I do know there were these rap
Yeah.
songs though.
So see that, guys? He's watching the views for you. He's making them views for us.
I'm doing my part.
All right. So actually, I want to do something different. Instead of a music recommendation for this time, I want to recommend a game. All right. So for those of you that have not played this game before, this one I would say would delve into the psychological horror slash horror, yeah, psychological horror aspect of everything. I want y'all to play the game Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Ooh, a PC
Yep,
classic.
it's a PC classic. So it's pretty easy to run. The only problem you might see on the current Windows would be mouse problems, but that can be easily solved by the click of a button. Other than that, it's a really great game to go through. It has a lot of tension, and you'll be pleasantly surprised that even though it's an old game, it still holds up.
And I remember just watching like a small little let's play video of it, and even through it edited and in the commentators making joke, it still creeped me out.
And also, it has a lot more too because you can also get downloadable maps people made. I'm not sure what if the website's still up, but if it is, many people have made custom maps, and custom stories in there. Some went as far as make a whole custom story with full voice acting.
How about that? How about that? Hopefully it's still up. Cause I'll be ashamed if it's down the internet memory hole.
Same. But that's my game recommendation for this week.
Ooh, I want to also chime in. That's my second time doing this, but I actually have a music recommendation as well. Go back, extremely quickly. All Jack, and as well I recommend this for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you like power metal,
Mm-hmm.
and if you weren't satisfied with, and if for some reason you weren't satisfied by uh Zombie by Bad Wolf, if that was like, okay, it's a fine type of song about war and the atrocities of it. Well, then I got something better because I don't know if you know this, Jack, but Sabaton released a new album this
Oh,
year.
really?
Yes, and guess what it's all about?
I'm assuming war.
Specifically, World War One.
Ooh.
So yeah, so I recommend their new album entitled "The Great War" by Sabaton. Key tracks, the key tracks that I personally found favorites are the Fields of Verdun, Red Baron, and the Seven Pillars of Wisdom. So I can't go on much further just for time's sakes, but I recommend as my piece of music recommendation for you guys for this week. With that said, Jack, anything significant you're gonna be doing till the next podcast? What you watching? What you reading? What are you
All right.
playing?
So I'm gonna be watching more horror movies for this week. So I'm gonna go probably watch some classics and then watch It, the first one. Not both the pro. I'll probably just do the current year. It.
Oh, you mean the modern?
Yeah,
You
the
mean the
modern
modern?
one,
The
not the
not
one
the
with
one from the
not the one with
'90s.
Jim Carrey. Tim
Tim
Curry.
Curry.
Sorry.
I
Oh,
did.
that's totally different. Totally different. But yeah.
All right, awesome. Let me know which one you like more. I've heard some. I'm surprised some people still kind of defend that original TV movie. I don't know what it was called. I think it was a miniseries. Oh well. Anything
And
else?
mm, I just found the YouTube channel I was talking about. I'm gonna watch some of the newer episodes or the newer videos they have out because he just put out some new videos.
All right, awesome. And well, with that and as far as what I'm gonna be doing, new comic reviews out. I got my new comics. Got and so do expect do expect that for 2 months for uh expect some reviews to be I've already uploaded by the time this podcast is out. And of course, and if you have not noticed, mostly because we don't have a lot of subscribers, but I've actually been attempting to do these daily videos, kind of doing uh, putting my thoughts out there for anyone to listen to. And Jag will eventually do this too when he has the time and freedom to do it. These are relatively easy to record, but pretty much these are meant to either do topics that we can't really do in the podcast because they will take up too much time or unrelated to any current week events, and or they're actual smaller news stories that just won't make it as a topic for the podcast. So do expect that as kind of your daily content in between podcast episodes, just to have variety in the channel. I've already got a few up. One that actually did really well relative to our channel. I got one on Batman, on modern writers. I already have one about Capcom potentially bringing back old IPs, and I recently, as of this recording, I released a video about uh, the three sci-fi movies that have similar beginnings and looks like gonna have similar endings. So and whatever other new videos I put up by the time this podcast is up. So I encourage people to check those out as well. With all that said, if you enjoyed the podcast, please don't don't please leave us a like, comment down below so that we can see have some activity in the channel. And as well, if you want to see more videos from us, please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to be notified of future videos that we'll be actually doing more, since we now have a more solid idea where we want to take the channel. With all that said, thank you very much for watching, and this is Hack sign off.
Bye, guys.